Welcome back, everybody. Semi-final number 2. We have Team EE going up against Diamond Skin, and this is HGC 2017 for Europe, the qualifier, the last one. It is also the last and final best of 5. We have already 7 teams qualified for the league in 2017 for Europe, which is, of course, Fnatic and Dignitas making it to BlizzCon. We had at the first qualifier 2Bs determined and the Misfits qualify, and then in the second one it was the Damascus Boys together with Be Genius. Today already we had the Russian Circus qualify as well, and now one of these 2 teams in this best of 3 series is gonna make it into the league as well. There's $100,000 available to every team that makes it through the entire year, just as more of an attendance fee. So that's a huge amount of money already for all of these players. Definitely a life-changing amount, since that allows them to focus completely on esports, completely to Heroes of the Storm, since it's only baseline. It's only to allow you to make it your priority, whereas prize money, team salary still comes on top of that. So this is, of course, what all of these guys have been working for a long time. I'm Khaldor, and with me is Tetcher, and we're gonna give you the coverage here today with draft and also, of course, the in-game commentary.
And starting with the drafts, we have an Abathur ban from Diamond Skin, very focused against Excelente Iglesion, which is EE on this draft screen for the moment, whereas they banned out the ETC and picked up the Tyrael as their first.
One thing that we have to point out here as well is that this is the second semifinal, the second best of 5 that is being played. The grand final will not be played, since of course 2 teams through the qualifier make it into the league next year. So if you win the series, you're through. Variant is allowed. He can be played, but there's no picture for him in the draft tool that's being used here, so it's going to be like a blank one. We're going to mention it though when it happens. And I also want to point out real quickly that these 2 teams play the second one. So there was a best of 5 before that, where they could actually just simply look up drafts and really prepare for the series. So we will see a couple of bans coming in that are really target bans, which is one of the things that, for example, Abathur could already represent here.
Yep, we've seen both these teams. These teams have scrimmed a little bit as well before this qualifier when they're on different sides of the bracket. So we're seeing the Li Ming and the Brightwing. So they have the global, they have a decent support, but Malfurion being ignored.
Yeah, Malf actually not taken. It's kind of interesting to come from like a series where Malfurion has been such a high priority to a series where in the first draft he's completely just ignored, at least for the start. But in this particular setup right now, we have Brightwing, of course, for the global mobility. And I have to admit that I don't even know what the map is. Usually it's displayed here, but we have a lobby up, so I'm going to double check that real quickly so that we can make a bit more sense out of these. It's Warhead Junction.
It is, which is a map we have not seen yet, which is going to be very interesting.
This is actually really interesting as a map, because there's a lot of players, when you talk to them, like, a lot of these players freely admit that when it comes to Warhead Junction, they have no idea how to play it. They're saying, like, the map is so weird, I'm not quite sure what I should prioritize here, how we should rotate in this. And it is very transparent in any kind of games that we've seen so far. It can oftentimes be very chaotic, but I think the one thing we can agree on is that global mobility overall is great on this map, which is why I'm personally a bit surprised, especially considering the priority throughout this qualifier and the last one, that we haven't seen Dehaka yet in the draft.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. Teams not wanting to go for him in this particular case. Diamond Skin, with the ban and the second stage bans, still considering their options right now, running down their time pool very severely, but they're kind of limited for options because EE has gone so varied with their first couple picks. They've really not given anything away. They've done a very good job. But Diamond Skin, they've seen them play before, going to ban out that Zeratul.
Zeratul banned at this point, and here's a ban also on Tassadar to make sure. This is basically a soft ban against any kind of Tracer composition that can be played. Diamond Skin has played that in the past a lot. It's the former lineup of E-Punks with Chris. And yeah, right now, making sure that Tracer's not being played on the map where she has a lot of potential to just move around. That's a good decision here. I'm still wondering if we're going to see that Falstad, if we're going to see that Dehaka, if we're seeing a focus on these global abilities that will allow you to capitalize on the big map. Another hero that we haven't seen yet here, we could potentially see the Vikings.
We could see the Vikings giving that global potential. They're very, very nice in terms of being able to pick up a nuke if it just spawns near them, if the enemy team doesn't rotate enough with those globals. But globals, there is the Dehaka, finally getting a bit of love from Diamond Skinned here, a little bit further into the draft. And now with that double global, they could even pick up Falstad. to give themselves a 3 global team, and then they just get the resets with Li Ming, which will put them into a really strong position.
It would fit their comp. It would definitely fit for them, having the second damage dealer here with a more of an auto attack focus. Besides that, I mean, other heroes, we still have good frontliners available. Muradin, for example, was neither picked nor banned. So if you want to have a strong frontliner next to the Haka, you can do that. The Haka has been in several positions also played as a solo tank, so he can do that for sure. And yep, there we have them. Full global on the side of Diamond Skin. I'm a little bit worried for AE at this point. Of course, their own setup is great. It's just that on this map, the question is really how much can the opponent just play around you, but by utilizing the global heroes they have, because there's no one available anymore, and that is going to be a massive problem. Also, we talked a bit about the Lost Vikings. I don't think that EE has any chance of playing the Vikings here, considering how many global heroes are playing against them. That would just be a hunt for Vikings like all day long.
Yeah. On the opposite end of the spectrum, though, the opposite end to the Vikings, which is multiple heroes played by one person, this isn't a terrible draft for Cho'Gall for EE, if that's what they wanted to go for. However, second tank still available for Diamond Skin. We could see the Leoric or something with percentage damage as the final pick, but no Cho'Gall, sad times. He's a bit worse on this map anyway, since it's only one body as opposed to two, which could be picking up nukes. Yeah. Instead, solid final picks here, the Thrall and the Sylvanas.
Elaborate for a second why you think that Cho'Gall would actually be decent on the map, because
I don't think he's decent on the map, I think he's decent with their comp. That's why I said he doesn't work really because he's one body comp.
I'm on the completely opposite side of the argument there. I really think it would be a horrible choice for them, because I would be very afraid of the globals just playing completely around them. And if you can't force the opponent to the fight, I would be very afraid that Diamond Skin is taking them out there. I mean, in the end, it's a moot point anyway, since, as you already pointed out, the heroes that were chosen here are Thrall and Sylvanas. But again, does that worry you that we have like no real global potential here for EE?
It does worry me. It worries me a lot. In Diamond Skin, they still have a very solid lineup here. They've got good comfort picks for a lot of heroes here. We have Dehaka for Nande, we have the Li Ming for Chris. Overall, they all get to play something that they know they're good at.
So guys, the stage is set for game number 1. We are opening up the best of 5 series with a match between EE and Diamond Skin on Warhead Junction. So let's jump in together and see which team is going to take the lead here in the final match to determine the final team that is going to join us with HGC 2017. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, in the series has started. It is the HGC 2017 qualifier. It's the last game that we're ever going to see for qualification. One of these two teams will make it. A best of 5 starting off on Warhead Junction. To the left side, BKB on Tyrael for EE. We have Pequeno Paquete on Malfurion, Celium on Tychus, Zelia on Sylvanas, and Zarmony is playing Thrall. These boys have been waiting a long time for this, since we had our first semifinal playing first, where the Russian Circus qualified against Jabronis with a 3-2 victory. To the right side of the map, we have Diamond Skin, the team with Chrisplosion on Muradin, Nanda on Dehaka, Wolfjaw on Brightwing, a Raid Boss on Falset, and Chris playing Li Ming, focusing heavily on the global mobility of their heroes.
And we'll have to see how EE chooses to answer this. Right now, they choose to answer it by chilling in the top lane and waiting for Wolfjaw to overextend. If Grappacutter did move up, he might be able to root him here. And here comes Dehaka as well. Tyrael is the one who moves up.
Double money pick. Just saying. Double money pick.
Double money pick and a nice epic wolf there. Pretty cool.
I'm not really sold on the wolf, but Zelia and BKB definitely have a special place in my heart right now that I've seen them on choice. I totally agree with that. There's no traps though. Jokes aside for a moment, like they were setting the trap at the top lane as you already elaborated, but neither Nanda nor Wolfjaw made the mistake of just simply face checking the bush there.
Yeah, and even if they hadn't face checked the bush, they might have been able to land the roots and just push into the lane, but safe play saved lives, and that's what they were able to do there. They were able to save their lane, and now they've been able to rotate Li Ming up to make the lane numbers even.
Yeah, Volleyball Li Ming is already in there. We have stacking with the Perfect Storm, the Gathering Storm taken on the side of Raid Boss, so not going into any kind of auto-attack shenanigans like we've seen with the Russian Circus in the last map. But it's a bit of a team fight happening over the vision at the center of the map right now, with EE deciding to move back, but they could fall into the trap as Zelium dashes away, but still gets stunned out and blown to pieces.
Yeah, I heard you like hammers there, Tychus. He gets taken down very quickly by the Stormbolt and the Hammerang, and Li Ming was able to escape. She did take a lot of harassment due to the fact that Tychus knew he was dead, so it would just turn around and just try to mow down the majority of critical cells to force him to use the fountain, which he did.
So at this point, once again, we're having both the teams heading into level 4. It's not really too much of a problem losing a hero in the early stage of the game if you have more than that one hero on lane, which was the case here. We're seeing Grandpa Kette double-checking the bush up to the top lane. They simply let one of the nukes go. They focus on the bot lane for now. Bosses are going to spawn at the bot and at the top lane, so those are the two that can be pushed with the help of bosses as well. But they are the globals that we've been talking about, and all of a sudden it's a 4 versus 3 at the bot lane.
Nanda's taken a lot of damage though, he has to pull back to the fountain. It's become a 4 versus 4 now because the globals didn't take advantage by pushing in aggressively because of the amount of damage that was on the board. Muradin sneaking in from behind, Tyrael on the way, but if they can get the kill before he arrives, this might change it. The good polymorph to prevent the haunting wave, and they do get Sylvanas here. BKB now taking a lot of damage, he's able to pull back, but now it's a 5 versus 4.
EE losing 2 heroes in the game, and they also are about to lose the second nuke. So 2 nukes against them, 2 kills against them. Not the start that the team was hoping for. And we're talking about a bit of an all-star team that has been doing very well in the past. All of these players have been to offline events already. But of course the E-Punks themselves showing their skills throughout the second half of 2016.
First nuke already used in the bottom lane, taking down the towers and the fountains. Second nuke, going to be focused. It will guarantee that tower on the right there, and will also bring the fort down to less than half health. Explosion jumping over the wall here, as there are a lot of heroes there that he did not expect. So he's just going to be forced to take a little bit of harassment from Cilium's minigun, but overall he gets out safely.
Yeah, and talking about harassment, we have to the top lane Zarmany getting really chunked down here by Nanda on his Dehaka. So Sylvanas is of course going to try and give the team a bit of value thanks to her being able to go for these camps quite early in the game. One has already been taken, but there's a follow-up attack against Grandpa Kette, who's immediately being locked down by a Stormbolt. They go for Crisplosion. There's no kill against him. Very aggressive style that is being played right now by the team in red, and they are doing very well. Diamond Skin is opening this entire best of 5 series up with a bang.
Yeah, they're doing very, very well at the moment. Nanda finally starting to lose a little bit against Zarmany. Zarmany finally getting that full sustain to work in his favor here, but he needs to be careful not to drag, or that could turn around very, very quickly. And in the bot lane, Right Wing gonna struggle a little bit against Sylvanas here, but Sylvanas shows herself, which she does now, and begins to continue to push up that lane, especially seeing the Merc camp has just arrived.
Now we have Skullcracker taken on level 7. We're seeing now the Barbed Shot coming in after Lost Soul. Tyrael goes down. This is starting to become really a huge problem. Now losing Zarmany now too, they are getting wrecked. I mean, this is them getting destroyed in this early game. They lost both nukes, they lost 5 heroes already. They're at this point a level behind. The draft is struggling with the opponent just having that global mobility that allows them to jump from one side of the map to the other within moments. The EE has to change this fast because the momentum is completely spiraling out of control against them.
Yeah, they got to do something, because right now, like you said, it's just drifting away from them, while Diamond Skin begins to snowball away with this. 5 kills to 0, level 9 to what is about to be level 8, and a mercenary camp pushing in for Diamond Skin to counter-push the one that was taken earlier for EE.
The aggression of Diamond Skin here, once again going for the Tyrael, and BKB barely survived. This roaming squad that we have set up for Diamond Skin works wonders for them. They're doing really well with it. Now we have 4 nukes appearing on the map, and that's of course once again where the global mobility can shine. And level 10 is so close already. 5 kills against 0, that's giving you a massive lead in EXP.
Yeah, and they're still soaking almost every lane. The only reason they're not soaking mid is because the minions haven't arrived yet. Nanda attempting to do top, denied by a grenade, but 2 nukes out of the 4, about to be 3 thanks to Brightwing, already going over to Diamond Skin, and Nanda delaying top. If they could get all 4, that's going to be devastating. Nanda gets rooted though, and just lets BKB take it.
But even 3 are a problem, and they're dropped now in the middle and at the bot lane. So there's another 2 towers gone. Welcome level 10. Welcome heroic abilities. Raid boss is already starting to focus down the fort over here. Zarmany is trying to deal with it. Nuke blown up at the top at least delivers a bit of experience to EE. But Diamond Skin is running the show for now. Level 10 abilities could change that, but they are 2 level ahead already.
Yeah, Diamond Skin also keeping hold of one of their nukes here, just in case they need it for any kind of situation, if they want to go for a very aggressive push, or in case they need it for a boss fight or even a team fight, if they can get the good crowd control now that they have their heroics like we did say earlier, the aggressive rotation stop coming in from Diamond Skin. Not able to get the kill, but enough to slow down the rotations out of EE and prevent them from getting between the lanes like they'd like to.
Now again, EE plays one of the biggest maps in the pool, if not the biggest, and they allowed the opponent to pick up 3 global mobility heroes without using a single one for themselves. If they can force the team fights, then we're going to see a very different play, of course, especially since we have heroic abilities now for both of the teams. But they need to make sure that they are forcing something where they have a bit of an advantage, because right now they're getting very much outplayed. If they can force a battle with a 5 versus 5, they have definitely the tools available to them to win these team fights. But they need to make sure that Diamond Skin is just simply playing circles around them, because so far Diamond Skin has been playing a fantastic game.
But the team fight potential is huge now with these heroics, but they need to make something happen with it. They need to fight as a group. They need to fight aggressively. Right now, they're moving to the bot lane. Oh my god, what? They're aggroing the boss. They're starting it. Viridian will see this. Nanda can burrow down. Remember, there is still a nuke available here for Falstad.
Yeah, Falstad has a nuke. That's a huge problem, or could be. The fight is starting here, but we have a sanctification now. That's of course another thing that you can definitely use here. But they're letting this go. They're actually seeing, okay, are we going to go for it? What are we doing? But the Haka is going to come down for this, and they're starting to play around the opponent a little bit. Zarmany is still on the boss. Keep his Earthquake in mind. They need a team fight, and they are looking for an opportunity to take that. There's also the Mighty Gust to consider. It's not only about the nuke. Mighty Gust is there. Here comes the nuke. They're jumping in. Sank is on the ground. Earthquake is being used as well. Malfurion is in trouble. The nuke goes down. Silence is through. Mighty Gust for the disengage, and we have Tyrell jumping into the backline for just a moment. The boss is at full health once again. BKB on the wrong side of the battle, trying to escape here. They're chasing him down, and the rest of the team is trying to cover his retreat. They are very likely to actually save him here. But another issue is that the bot lane has been pressured by a camp throughout this entire battle.
Yeah, very, very nicely done there. That was such a passive fight from both teams. They were like, let's keep the boss aggro, just leave it for as long as possible. The nuke was used, got some good damage, but no kills for either team here. Falstad will guarantee this bot nuke. He does have that acquired now. He can come up to rejoin his team in this fight over the nuke in the mid lane. But we're seeing a slightly more passive playstyle from Diamond Skin now that level 10s are available for EE.
Well, that drag going for the drag. BKB nearly falling. He's willing to sacrifice himself if need be, and that could confirm a kill, but no! Chrisplosion jumps away, survives barely. They just don't get any kills. It's 6 kills against 0, and they just can't make anything happen here. Tyrell is completely okay falling in these fights if he gets value with the explosion, and they can capitalize on that, but they are far from accomplishing that.
Yeah, they dropped Chrisplosion down very high, which might have forced about the fight if he was anyone that wasn't Muradin. He's now going to just completely heal back up, back to his trait, and a little bit of Wolfjo here. They have 2 nukes available, and they're not even going to use them on his mid lane. They have minions here. They're going to finish off this fort. Oh god, Falstad, get out of there. There we go.
Yeah. I'm really trying to figure out what the thought process of EE was heading into this draft on this map. And the only thing that I can really come up with is that they wanted to fight the team fights. And them going for the boss just basically tells me that that assumption is right on the money. The nuke, I feel, changed the battle, since they are totally willing to deal with the Mighty Gust, but the nuke itself was something where Tyrell already had to drop his Sanctification, and I think he wanted to use that a little bit later. He also didn't time it perfectly. So right now, for me, it just says, hey, get 13, try to force a team fight. But the issue here is if they lose a team fight, they are done for. And they can never contest anything like this, like the boss being taken right now, simply because Tyrell has absolutely no option of moving down to the bot lane in time, whereas the Haka can just simply burrow through.
Yep, Great Boss actually takes a little bit of baiting damage, but like you said, too late. No way to contest it, no way to get down in time, and that's going to be the first boss of the game, going over to Diamond Skin, where they're going to push in. They still have these 2 nukes, so they're headed right to the keeps, boys.
The one thing, there's only one way for EE, I feel, to get back in this. Win a team fight and get Sylvanas value. Outside of that, I think they are totally screwed. So, let's see how that works out for them. They go for the boss. There comes, I think the Haka is going to join us really soon. As you said, 2 nukes are still available. So, they are starting to move in. Chrisplosion is trying to get an early lockdown against someone to maybe get even a kill here. 13 isn't there yet. They're nearly 3 levels ahead. They are 3 levels ahead.
Yeah, they're 3 levels ahead. There's the nuke, first one, clearing up the minion wave, so there's not going to be a huge amount of defense here. Minions getting disabled by Sylvanas though. Second nuke going to be dropping onto that keep. And with the boss combined with that second nuke, this keep probably going to go down, but Sylvanas going to try and prevent that.
16 versus 13 talents. The keep survives, which is crazy in itself. And Dehaka has never moved down to the bot lane. He always stayed at the top, pushed that in, and simply said like, well, we're gonna get 16, have fun with that. And that is Tyrael about to fall, jumps in again, dies, will try to get the trade value, and does get the damage in, but it's not enough for a kill. Again, Crisplosion jumping out. It's a double kill against them. EE is... I'm going to be absolutely blunt here. This is more than disappointing what we're currently seeing from them.
Yeah, they're getting kind of wrecked here. They're dropping so many heroes low and getting nothing from it every single time here. So, level 16, like we said, available for Diamond Skin right now. We're seeing Chris going with Fireflies. We see him do this every now and again. One of the only people who actually seems to every now and again. Crit Rise for Brightwing because blowing up heroes works very well. Let's keep doing it. The Elongated Tongue and the Heavy Impact.
Diamond Skin plays fantastic here. I mean, Chris has been chunking out the damage the entire time. He's doing very well. He's at 23,000. Crisplosion is just simply not dying. No matter how much they engage for him, he just keeps himself alive here. We had that entire global potential. This is another big battle with a talent disadvantage for EE. So once again, Crisplosion jumping in. The Haka is already in there. Of course, we are seeing the stuns. Nice move with the Sanctification. Maybe now a kill. Nande falls. There is a nuke on the ground. Another one being used by Raid Boss already. They're starting to move away. A few heroics are still available. One of them being the drill. So that can be used. The interrupt is there. Maybe that's the time for the momentum. But again, Diamond Skin playing extremely well, and they want nuke number 2.
They want to pick it up. They dropped a nuke to basically pick up another nuke to just prevent it from going over to EE, because if EE start picking up nukes, then that's going to be difficult for Diamond Skin to play against, because they've controlled them so well so far in this game. But continuous denial here coming in from EE. They're in control of the nuke area for both nukes here, but they're slowly being pushed back by Diamond Skin, and Wolfjo finally picks it up.
Wolfjo picks it up, they're pushing them back, and they are down one player. They are just capitalizing on the fact that they have the extra talent and the kill potential. Barely Zelia getting out of there, thanks to the cleanse that Grand Paquette dropped. But now with Nande coming back into this, it's a 5 versus 5 once again. And they are starting to chase. So they get both nukes here. Level 16 isn't ready. And they're just capitalizing on the fact that they get advantage over advantage with talents, with Global Soak. They haven't lost a fort yet. They are playing such a great, incredible game. The draft is working so well for them. Massive mistakes by EE to let all of these globals go.
Yeah, and I would also like to point out that the Wailing Arrow was denied there due to the fact that Sylvanas was polymorph, so she fired it out and then couldn't explode it on any of the heroes, thanks to that. Nuke being used up here at the top lane to guarantee this boss. They still have one on Wolfjo and on Crisplosion, so they're able to burn one here, but in come EE. One last fight here. BKB jumps onto the point, he's polymorph, he gets the sack though, they'd steal the boss!
This could be it. Boss is stolen, and it's the end of Muradin. Now Raid Boss is low. They're starting to chase Nande. This could really be the one thing that brought them back into the game. Sylvanas has to get them value right now, and they know it. They need to make sure that this boss is pressuring hard. And they have the 16 talent. This is really the moment where they need to get massive amounts of value. Ideally and a keep. They're starting to move in. They have one nuke at least. That's a big win. They're going for a camp now as well. They blasted away. They know that they have an advantage. Nande already moved back. They're not finishing the camp though. They're actually deciding to let that one minion just move straight through. But they have at this point a nuke going in. They disable the structures. This is EE's chance to not completely being destroyed in this game.
They're moving in. The keep is disabled. The single tower is still attacking the boss though, but the keep does go down. And surprisingly, despite how bot lane went, that's the first keep of the game, but the minion wave in the bot lane is going to pretty much guarantee that second keep unless they be back instantly, because the minion wave from the bot lane will hold it for just a little bit. But Sylvanas heading back. Will she get there in time?
Maybe.
It
could happen.
Go, Zelia. Go. Go.
Hit the dagger. And there we go. And it's so close, but she's actually going to save it. So,
wow.
Okay, let's talk about this a bit. We've been saying from the start they need to win a big battle and they need to capitalize on Sylvanas. They've done that. They have fallen way farther behind before it happened, though, than I thought would be the case. Do you think they can make it back? Because even with a keep being destroyed, I would still give a massive advantage to Diamond Skin. It could change everything, though, if they grab a second boss. And let's keep in mind they have 16 talents both. There's no 20 yet.
It could absolutely be. Like, they're still in such a rough position. But catapults are good, man, and so are bosses, and they now have... They got both, and they want a second boss, at least. But Diamond Skin putting up too much pressure. Even talents for the moment. So probably, if they do want to make a play, they should do it soon. But the nuke is going to be where they do it, not under the boss, where the boss could kill them off.
One of the reasons why I'm actually not too worried about the one keep falling is that with all the globals, we see the Haga pushing out that lane so aggressively that the catapults will need ages to really arrive at the core. So that doesn't worry me too much for Diamond Skin right now. I really think that they have still all the trump cards in their hand. Losing the keep is a problem. Getting annihilated at that boss was an issue. They lost 2 heroes there, but they still have level 20 so much faster. And this is another play for a boss, and if it doesn't work, this is desperation move. The 20 is there. They know they have the Sanctification. They have the Twilight Dream. The drill is already on the ground. They know that they have to win it here now.
They need to get that sack. They use the Holy Ground. They guarantee the boss. That is the second boss of the game. Zarmany in full retreat. Chris trying to chase him down to get at least a kill. They get the kill with Raid Boss flying in as well with that epic mount because they already have 20 and Grand Paqueta dies too.
Yeah, Grand Paqueta somehow is still alive. I don't even know how he did it because, to be quite honest, I saw him die like 3 times in my personal opinion. But still, this is a keep against them. Question is, can you core? Because there are not going to be a lot of minions that are going to help you out in any way. The boss is going to push through the bot lane. They are trying to core here. They have 1 nuke.
They're going to use it, but the defensive nuke coming in here for EE. They want to try and defend it. Here's the offensive nuke. Chris Closure getting focused down, though. He's having to pull back. There's the Storm Shield from Brightwing, and the core melts Khaldor. That is GG.
The core melts down, and this is going to be the end of it. We are seeing Diamond Skin win a convincing game number 1 and taking the lead in the best of 5. Game number 2, everybody. The first map we actually asked, the first map that was when we had the first pick on the side of Diamond Skin. That makes a whole lot more sense since it was pretty transparent that EE didn't really know how to react against the draft, how to react on the map. So right now we're moving a bit more into familiar territory with Battlefield of Eternity being the second map here. EE is down 1 game in the best of 5 series, so they have to be a bit careful with this. But Diamond Skin, their strategy really working out for them, doing very well here, getting that first victory in the best of 5. So we're heading into our second draft, and now we have actually Muradin being banned out. Didn't really expect that to happen here. We had seen very different priorities in the series before that. But let's find out who's going to take the lead here, and of course what we're going to see in terms of like picks and bans again, heading into a completely different map and setup.
So the Muradin ban is fairly fine. It's still a pretty strong pick in general. It's pretty scary, and it was played very well by Chris Potion in the previous one. And for those who were watching the Gold Cup, the build of it is changing a bit. We did actually see a Sledgehammer combined with Ironforge Momentum build coming in from Zero, I think. Oh no, it was from Dignitas. On that map, so we saw a little bit of focus on that. So it is strong. It can give a lot of burst in terms of burst compositions and bursting down the Immortal, but it does give EE the ETC.
ETC, so it's the battle for the control tanks again, which we've seen at BlizzCon also a fair bit. These days, Johanna is oftentimes used as another tank that you can pick up, and moving highly in priority up for a lot of teams that even prioritize her over a Muradin or over an ETC. But at the moment, we have Li Ming for the poke against the Immortal. We see Brightwing again for the global mobility here as well. Not really as important on Battlefield of Eternity as on other maps, but still Brightwing definitely their priority choice. They banned out Malfurion also. So let's see how EE reacts to this. This is a game where they have to show us a completely different approach. They have to really show that they're here to win this.
Yeah, because this is their last chance. After this, it's just the Open League, and that's a long way away, so the teams really want to get into this. So, EE, what are they going to run now? They need some Immortal focus. Valor is very popular for that purpose. It's going to be Zarya to start off with. Good poke, good sustain. Pretty strong in every scenario.
Yeah, Zarya had a couple of weak games early on today in a different series, but now there's a huge amount of poke that they have here. When we're talking about Vala, there's a couple of ways how you can play the hero. Very dominant is the arrow build that we have on the map. You can still play with a multi-shot if you're just trying to poke away, but it's more like popular to go into the arrow and try to get the value out of that. You are oftentimes fighting in the middle of the map where there's no real minions to distract from the arrows. So they're not going to bounce off a hero towards the minion wave, and then you don't get actual hero damage value out of it. So decent picks here for EE for sure. High priority on Vala, a little bit higher than I expected for them, but it makes sense. And let's see what the bans are going to reveal right now as the Diamond Skin boys are going to have their second ban of the series.
Yeah. Then the question
Supports.
is, what is it going to be? Supports would be good for them, because they already have the Brightwing. That is a good idea. Ariel works very, very well with the Vala. In terms of mortal damage, it's usually going to be Karazim or Rhaegar that comes out ahead in terms of those, so either of those could be a bad if that's what they want to try and deny.
I could definitely see an Oriel if they want to ban on the supports, but they are more worried about that top lane and ban out the Thrall. Alright, so Thrall, of course, overall a big game changer, and is another hero that they played in the last game, so Diamond Skin, when it comes to drafting, is doing really well. I like what they're doing here. They had already a couple of targets bans in on the last map, which was their choice, and it's a map that we see very rarely played, so they had an advantage there going into it already. Now they are adapting a bit to what EE has been drafting too, and they ban out the Thrall for the potential solo lane here. Whereas EE has a variety of heroes they can ban, and they are apparently worried about that snowball potential. So, and also, of course, the immortal pressure. So that's why we're immediately seeing a ban on Sylvanas.
Yep, makes a lot of sense for them. Now Diamond Skin get their choice of tanks. What do they want to go? If they can't pick Muradin, they can't pick EDC. So usually it's going to be Johanna here, but Johanna doesn't add the most in terms of immortal damage, but you kind of have to pick something in that scenario. We could also see the Tyrael, who has a little bit more in terms of the damage department, but also dictates how you want to take fights.
Stitches, even depending on how you build the composition, can be played on the map. With them picking up a Tychus, I doubt it a little bit. Usually when you are going into a Stitches, you are trying to isolate a target, so you either pick Falstad for Gorge into Mighty Gust, or you are picking at least a Malfurion, so you hook into Roots. They don't do that, so it's a bit unlikely that we're going to see Stitches being dropped for them right now. But we still have them with a lack of frontliners, and that's where, as Tetcher already said, we could still see the Johanna, the Tyrael. We've seen the Haka on this map as well, so he could be played here with a second frontliner on top of that too.
Yeah, what are they going to run? Plenty of tanks. The Haka, even on this map, not the worst choice. It is going to be the Johanna, which makes a lot of sense. They get the Tychus, they miss out on damage, but they already have good single target damage in the form of Leeming and Tychus. And it gives them a lot more teamfight potential, so they can just play around that as opposed to playing around killing the Immortal and racing.
Yeah, talking about like racing, we will probably see a little bit of extra damage on the side of EE. We currently have them with the picks, and it needs to be a bit of support that they're adding to the lineup that they're playing here. So I suppose in this setup, an Oriel would do fairly well for them. I don't really see them picking up a Tyrande comp here. We've been always talking about Tyrande with the trait that she can help to focus an Immortal down. There's been a lot of also like CC comps where you're trying to capitalize from stun into stun, so it can be an option occasionally. With the setup that they're having here right now, I just don't see it, and they go into the Alarak and they have the Rhaegar with it, so it's a really solid setup for them. They have the shields to help out, they have the lightning shield that helps with the Immortal, probably going to go into the lightning bond as a level 1 talent, and Diamond Skin can now react to what they are seeing on the board and pick another frontliner for themselves.
Yeah, the question is which one they want to go with. They also have the option if they want to go for a bit more hybrid as opposed to just a straight-up frontliner. They could pick Greymane. He is still available for them. He has a lot of immortal damage. Samuro, also available, which won't get them a solo laner. It's the Dahaka we talked about earlier. So they have another melee, have a solo laner, and they have a good amount of CC.
I like the Dahaka. I think he gives them a little bit more frontline sustain. His burrow and his essence is helping him to really just like fight through this, whereas a Greymane would make them a very squishy setup, especially with the Brightwing as the only source of sustain here. The map is starting up, guys, so Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 2, EE going up against Diamond Skin. So let's head into the second map and find out which team is going to take it here. Game number 2, everybody. We have Excelente Elección going up against Diamond Skin. BKB to the left side for the blue team with ETC. Zelia is playing Vala. We have Gran Paqueto on Rega, Celium and Zarya, and Zarmany on Alarak. To the right side of the map, Diamond Skin with the lead in the best of 5 series here at the HGC Qualifier. They played very well. They had the map choice on map number 1 and exploited that fact. Chris on Liming now, Nanda on Dehaka, we have Wolf Joe on Brightwing, so 3 heroes, the same as in the last draft. Raid Boss on Tychus, and Chris Plosion is currently playing Johanna. Let's find out if they can make this a 2-0, or if EE is coming back to this. It is indeed the Q build on Vala as expected on this map, just very powerful with this particular style of play.
Yep, you get a huge amount of value in terms of immortal fights. Another talent very much worth talking about here is the Guitar Hero on ETC. Now basically, when you're fighting the immortal, you're going to be auto-attacking it a lot as ETC. So you get a lot more sustain from this, as you are healed with 35% of your damage dealt with basic attacks while your guitar solo is activated, and it increases the attack speed bonus of your Rockstar passive by 5%, and that is a huge deal, especially when you have heroes like Vala and Zarya on your team.
Brightwing jumped down to the bot lane right now because she was actually at the top lane together with the Haka because you have the mobility there. They were not quite sure what to expect here, and once they really confirmed that 4 heroes were pushing the bot lane, Brightwing immediately jumped back down. So they had a couple of lags right now, as you can see right here on Wolf Joe, but it gives us the opportunity to talk a bit about the talents. Tetcher already talked quite a bit about like the Guitar Hero and the advantages that you get there. But when we're looking at the opponent's side, a talent that we still have to point out again, even though the hero has been played for a while, is the Primal Aggression on the Haka. It's one of the talent that really makes all the difference since Blizzard changed it. The Wave Clan the Haka has finally allowed him to be a great solo laner. Before that, he was usually part of rotations, part of a 4-man, and occasionally made his way to the solo lane to set up a gank. But since Blizzard increased the damage on it, he has now enough wave clear to easily sustain himself through a solo lane. And that's also where we normally see the Essence collection through minions over the Hero Stalker taken up, just because he will have additional lane sustain through that and can deal, let's say, with an Alarak.
Yeah, the extra duration that you get as well as the duration is increased when you get the cooldown reduction on level 7 with the Haka. With the extra duration you get from Primal Aggression, if you can stay on one hero for the entirety of Dark Swarm, then you are able to get the cooldown basically permanently off. Because you get the cooldown reduction, the extra duration, and you're able to keep it up all the time.
Yeah, we have currently the push happening at the top lane, as expected there. And the bot lane, this is really where the battle is, of course, going on as well. And it would have been a bit of a surprise if Demolition's Expert would not have been taken by Zarya. It's kind of the build that we're seeing these days with the focus on the Particle Grenade. It's pretty easy to also like stack the quest talent, so Celium is going to play a huge role here later on to also help his allies out, of course. But we are waiting for that first Immortal Wave to be started, and that's happening right now. EE, they have to show themselves here now. The last game was very bad for them, and they need to get themselves some confidence with a victory here, or Diamond Skin will have a massive, massive advantage going into game number 3.
We immediately see EE starting on the Immortal, getting a bit of a head start, in fact, with Diamond Skin were playing a little bit more passively, hiding in the bush, seeing if anyone was defending, and because of that, EE with a huge advantage in this race, especially seeing as the Haka isn't currently helping.
Yeah, they're fighting even before it's there. Nice combo out of Alarak. They're going for Raid Boss, and this time it looks like Tigers might fall. BKB confirms the kill. Job well done. Now they have to be careful since the Immortal is here, so stuns are going to be on the ground. But that was an important kill for them. They move back to the fountain. Of course, the death timers are still very low, and Tigers will be back in a few seconds. But they are starting to make their play for the first objective.
Yeah, and we see Zarya gaining a little bit of energy here by using Alarak getting knocked back by the Immortal here. So we're going to see the first Immortal of the game going over to EE thanks to that big head start. But the shield's going to be very low thanks to that good zoning by Diamond Skin, good delaying by Johanna. They were able to do a very large amount of damage to EE's Immortal.
One of the things that I also want to quickly talk about is the level 1 talent on Rega. Going into the Wolf run is very common, but on mostly when you're playing on this map, you see Rega going for the second Lightning Shield, and that's not the case. The Lightning Bond really allows you to get a bit more siege damage out against the Immortals, so they completely let that slide now in favor of having more mobility on Rega. So an interesting touch here, just like a personal preference, I assume, on the side of Gran Paqueta, as they're now starting to push through at the top lane with the first Immortal of the game.
Yep, and we will see Diamondskin able to harass this down. They, in fact, want to try and get a kill with Nunda rotating up to the top lane, but BKB on point, able to power slide out of that. So Immortal gets a bit of damage onto the fort.
At the bot lane, Zarmini has now completely control over that lane because the Haka at the top, trying to move down, gets actually interrupted here, intercepted by BKB, Celium and Grand Paqueta. So that's a bit of time wasted. That is going to result in them losing out on experience.
Yeah, the towers will kill off the majority of those minions, except for one. They get 1 minion worth of XP. Good job. So they're able to rotate down, though, and this will give them control over this bottom Khaldor. But guess where EE have gone? Straight to top lane to grab the Khaldor up there to begin putting pressure onto Nunda. But Nunda, he, once again, as we mentioned before, has that primal aggression. As long as he waits patiently for the Vesper Cap to push up, he will be able to clear it very quickly.
I really like the push, the interruption of the rotation that we've seen there. That was great, and that gives them an experience lead, of course, in addition to the structures that they already took down. But yeah, at this point, Khaldor camps on both sides taken, and both teams rotate now aggressively, especially EE is sticking S5 already. Now that we are not even level 7, and they really move S5 on the map. They got a bit of pressure against the top thanks to the Khaldor camp, and they use that to simply push S5 the bot lane, and they can now simply rotate someone to the top once that the lanes are going to be pushed out. But before that, they want to go for their own bruiser camp, which is, by the way, the same thing that Diamondskin is doing.
I would like to point out, though, that Diamondskin managed to defend bot against a 5-man with 2 heroes and only lost a tower and most of their gate health. That was actually a really strong defense, considering how much pressure they were under. And they were able to get their Khaldor as their Fallen Shaman as well, just in time. BKB power sliding away from the Condemned there, not getting caught out by Crisplosion.
We have I am the strongest on 4 and pinpoint accuracy taken on Zarya. So going very much heavily on a focus with the level 4 talent on the strength of the shield that are being used here. We have also Calamity picked up after Charge Blast and the Force Armor. Force Armor in particular going to be important for extra survivability here. And now it's time for Diamondskin to really try and capitalize a bit more on their globals. And this is where the Haka and Brightwing come into play. They are both soaking lanes still before they jump into the fight itself.
Explosion not getting silenced, and we're also not seeing the stacking damage coming out of Zarmini. He did go for the Endless Energy to reduce cooldown on his lightning, which gives him a little bit more sustain. We're seeing EE begin to move in and begin sieging onto Diamondskin's Immortal right now.
Yeah, Celium is in position. We have, of course, by now on the level 7 talent, the repeating arrow taken. Vala just continuing the Q build, trying to get her stacks going with the puncturing arrow as a level 4 talent. Talking about stacking, Zarya nearly completing the level 1 talent with the Demolitions Expert. Is not going to take her much longer to really get the 40. We have still heroes rotating onto the lanes for the experience soak. It's not going to become a problem regarding the level 10 abilities, but eventually there is going to be a play by one of these teams. So far they're very patient, just going for the poke battle.
Yep, waiting for their opportunity. Vala even once again taking some time to head back to the top lane to soak against Nunda with the bot lane. Grand Paqueta poking his head in and out, making sure he's in range for the XP when it pushes up, but not wanting to get caught out by the Chris's.
Yeah, I like it. the Chris's, exactly. The Celium is delivering quite a bit of damage towards the Immortal. They have a slight lead there, and this is actually where Diamondskin says, okay, we have to finally start doing something ourselves. Nice drag here against Zarya, but ETC slides in, goes for the big push, and they start to isolate Nunda. They get a lot of damage in against him, but they're not able to confirm a kill there. But a very good reaction by BKB once that he realized that his ally is in trouble.
Yeah, but them playing so aggressively is giving Vala so many stacks of her puncturing arrow here. She's getting a really good amount of damage here, which is going to allow her to poke down the Immortal even more efficiently here. And that's causing Diamondskin to once again play a little bit further back. And the longer this lasts, oh my god, 3-man stun coming out from BKB there, and the double silence from Zarmini.
Yeah, great capitalization by Zarmini, but BKB is in trouble and Nunda moves in from behind. The drag misses though, and all of a sudden he needs to burrow since he finds himself in trouble. BKB sliding out, stunning him in the process. Very nice play on ETC. A lot of stuns and Alarak set up for additional combos, but they just need to disengage again. And it looks a bit like I'm going to eat my words, because I was completely convinced that level 10 would not play a role in this battle. As it turns out now, though, both teams have soaked 1.5 levels in the meantime, and EE is very close to picking up their level 10.
Yeah, both of these teams deciding that kills are overrated. They'd rather just wait for their level 10 here. BKB sees Crisplosion moving in, and once again, Harmony rotating very quickly along with the rest of the team. EDC power sliding into an Iron Skin. Smash touch Johanna escapes, and they turn it onto Grab Baketa, who pushed very aggressively here. He gets by the Immortal. Why would you do that?
Yeah, okay, the dog just committed suicide, ran into the stun. I don't think he really saw that. That seems like a bit of a wasted shield. Or can Nanda maybe make a play out of it? He's trying to go in. Good slides from BKB once again. He's playing a really nice ETC right now, making sure that he survives nearly every engage. But we have Rhaegar back, and they are still trying to see if they can make a fight happen here. It's halftime show happening on the map now, though. And as you said before, Vala is stacking a lot of damage already. She's currently at 65 bonus damage. She needs 7 more.
Getting off the Immortal Zalia, getting a huge amount of burst that he does have available with his talents here. Here's the Odin though, very early in this fight, trying to siege out here at the Expulsion Zone. Used to try and push heroes away, or at least force Rayboss out of position, but everyone was already too far forward for it. Now we begin to see them move on to EE's Immortal. EE needs to put up a good defense here, but BKB's not here. He has to peek back, but he does have Sage Dive.
The Odin was a game changer for sure. Stage dive into the back against Nanda. Trying to go for the combo, and a great combo. But the Burrow is there. He should still fall. But the Immortal will be won by Diamond Skin. They get it. The question is, can they save Raid Boss? The answer to that question should be no. But let's see how it works out for them.
That's not what you want to be.
Okay, Raid Boss Sage is like, you don't see me. Let me back.
He thinks apparently Rayboss, considering the EE are T-Rexes, and that if he stands very still and Bs, they won't notice him. But EE, they do guarantee those 2 kills there, but now they have to defend against this Immortal. Shield already taken out of it, and they are still soaking bot lane thanks to Alarak.
Now, Vala with a puncturing arrow still needs additional 3 hits. A lot of the stacking talents are by now completed. Of course, when we're looking at the Endless Energy, we're not quite there just yet. But overall, they're doing well. 3 kills against 1, and this is much more what we expected from this series. Ah, very good drag bite. That was a great kill set up here by Nanda. Oh, well, there we go. Now it's
yeah, finally taken down. I would like to point out that shield was pretty clutch. I don't think even Grab Baketa expected it, because he did have Ancestral there. So he could have saved him, but I don't think anyone, including himself, expected him to live there.
Yeah, I believe you're totally right. In that moment, he probably didn't think he could get that through. So, and also, even if you get it through, is it worth the cooldown? Because that's a pretty long cooldown compared that the death timers are still so low, and what do you really get out of it? There was nothing to win at the top lane at this moment, so yes, you have to play passive for just a few seconds, but I think wasting the cooldown would have been a bigger problem, especially since you're not 100% certain you can save the target.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very nicely said. And we're going to see Diamond Skin rotate down to the bot lane to attempt to grab another Khaldor here. They already got top lane, so if they can get bot lane as well, they can continue to put the pressure on. But so far, neither team getting a huge amount. The only fort damage has been done by EE to this top lane.
Yeah, and both of them are heading into level 13, and they will also make a play, I believe, for their own camps. So we have the first one to the left side already taken. Over here to the right, Diamond Skin has to still clear it, but they of course will make that happen. At the bot lane, another Khaldor camp is about to be taken out. Nanda is very much alone there, trying to soak a little bit, but he retreats now that the rest of them moves in. This is going to be 13 versus 13 for sure, so we are going to see the extra talents. They are already on the board for EE, but Diamond Skin will get those any moment now.
Yeah, and there they are, both teams with level 13s, and the immediate Immortal race begins, but a huge advantage for EE due to the fact that they brought 5 heroes, and Dahaka has only just arrived. Oh, sorry, Brightwing has. Dahaka still hasn't arrived.
Halftime show is starting, and both teams are now dealing with the camp taken by the opponent. Dahaka at the bot lane, over here to the top, it's Rhaegar. But Grab Baketa is actually thinking about moving to help the team out. They're switching it out with Vala, who's taking the top lane now. Dahaka isn't there yet, but he can of course burrow. We also have additional wave play with the Burning Rage. We see Illusion is taken now, and the Ferocious Stalker, which is a great setup talent for Dahaka to allow him to just like have those aggressive moves after a burrow.
Yeah, Dahaka still soaking it out for the moment, being very, very patient for the moment, just giving his team XP. As long as the Immortal is not dying, he can continue to keep soaking. Also, talent taken by Alarak here, the Pure Malice, a very all-in talent here, which is a sort of counter to your team getting wiped.
Yeah, talking about getting wiped. There's the Odin again. Oh, and the drag, the heal. Celium gets away. Moves out. The Odin, on the other hand, again pushing it forward for Diamond Skin. They're trying to go in. Good move by Zarmony, dragging them into the stun range of the Immortal, but they have to eventually fight for this one. Rainbow still firing away here, and the Immortal of EE is going down, but we have BKB stage diving in. They're going for Dehaka again. The burrow has been used as a panic button, but he still falls, and this time they don't get the Immortal. They bursted it down heavily, but it is still alive.
Yeah, and they get the vision from the Peekaboo, from the Brightwing here, and they know that they are in some serious trouble. But in comes Johanna, try to force them into the boss, into the Immortal stun, but not going to do it. This Immortal will go over to EE. There's very little that can be done about this, and there it is. So, an Immortal will begin pushing the bot lane, which has already lost both of its towers and the wall.
It's really funny to see how every time Odin gets popped here, it's a huge game changer. The fight happens at the side of Diamond Skin's Immortal, and then Odin gets popped. All of a sudden, the entire fight just like flips. We're seeing a huge play for Zarya, but the Ancestral saves her, and then Odin just pressures it forward up to the point where they retreat, they tap, and they go in again and make the play against Nanda. And that's really the game-turning moment there, or the fight-turning moment. Chrisplosion! Gets annihilated by the Immortal, and the Iron Skin popped already. EE is showing us that they can play a lot better than what we've seen on the first map. Diamond Skin still in the game here, of course, but this time it is the plays of the blue team that really drives this game.
Yep, Odin is dropped though for the defense, drops some damage onto the Immortal and sieging it from out of range with the help of Chris with his Arcane Orbs and his Arcane Missiles here. So the Immortal will go down, but it takes down the wall, takes down the towers, and will it take down the bout? Yes, it does. That final swing, that last laugh there.
Those Immortals in the end are just so brutal. I mean, the longer the games go, it's just a single swing and down goes the well there. The second one, they actually pressure the top lane now also. And I mean, the more damage you actually put on this, if you win another Immortal, it's going to go through the top lane. So if you can take down the fort already, or at least pressure it, that's going to give you a huge edge and an advantage going forward to try and drop a keep. So they have a camp pushing through, they have the level 16 talent, which is another big opportunity for them. And this is where Vala compromises a bit and goes for the Frost Shot, just because it gives so much utility.
Yeah, there's also not a huge amount of extra damage she can get in terms of Q builds here. She already has Sustain, she already has a huge amount of single target damage for the Immortals. She's pretty sorted. The Frost Shot just gets her that extra chain potential. Nanda getting denied by the telekinesis here. He tries again. There's nothing left to stop him here. Oh god, the counter strike getting interrupted there. Ancestral will keep him alive though.
Yeah, Ancestral keeping them in. Diamond Skin, sorry, not Diamond Skin, Iron Skin is being used here. The 16 talent approach that we just saw didn't really work out, and they dropped a lot of heroic abilities for that. Most of the cooldowns are very low, so it's not going to make a huge difference. The fort at the top lane, by the way, has been eliminated in the meantime, if you just look at it. So that was well done by EE, but Diamond Skin is getting ready for the fight. They want to have 16 so that they can face their opponent on even talents again.
Yeah, and they will have that soon with the help of Nanda, soaking that Nanda currently rotating down to a different lane, heading his way down to the bot lane. He does have that Ferocious Stalker, like we said, so he has been able to get down to bot lane quite quickly. And he's going to begin clearing that up. Also, he took Primal Aggression at level 1. I don't think we... oh, no, wait, no, we did talk about that, sorry.
Slight advantage here also with the positioning that we have right now. This is a race for half-time show again. You're going to fight once they are down. Level 16, Fireflies has been taken. Chris prefers the talent lately quite a bit. Imposing Presence and the armor-piercing round. And it's hunting season against Dehaka, but they don't get anything done here just yet. Explosion currently missing one of his condemns, but of course both of the teams posturing around to get an advantage. Keep the camp at the top lane in mind. Oh, Chris, close call. But yeah, top lane camp is going to get value against EE.
Yep, the Fallen Shaman continuing to push up. Now we're seeing Vala, though, beginning to move into range onto this top Immortal. She can begin getting her full damage off on this BKB, even staying in there, getting good attacking. But the vision that is gained from Brightwing will be enough just to scare EE off, because they don't want to get themselves caught out, and if their opponents know exactly where they are, they can rotate efficiently against them. This is a bad choke point here. There's the silence onto the Zarya here, but the drag's interrupted.
Yeah, and we have the fort at the top lane eliminated by the camp. EE was willing to let it go. They said, like, what do we care about the camp? We want to win the fight right now. If we get the Immortal, we are solid. But at this point, they make the play. There comes the blessed shield. In comes the stage dive onto Tychus in the backline. They go again for the Haka. He's so low, but he's still alive. And as I say it, he gets finally eliminated. 5 versus 4 once again, and EE is on the chase.
Yeah, the counter-strike from Zarmony guaranteeing that kill there, using the damage from Tychus as he was not able to stop it because all his abilities have wind-ups. BKB knocking back, giving his team some time to try and burst this down. They actually get Johanna, nicely done.
She gets blown up. Oh, they actually ignore raid post for a moment even. They want them all. And now they're starting to go for Chris. But Zeli actually misses the arrow. Was outside of the range for just a moment. It's gonna be another big play for the Immortal though. And we talked about it. The forts are gone, which means that this one's gonna go straight for the keep itself.
However, a couple of them probably do need to be back for heals and mana. And Zalia won't be with them to start with because that camp kept going. It went all the way up to keep, has taken down a big chunk of damage on it, and has also drained a lot of mana.
I'm actually wondering if Zele had an opportunity to get a frost shot arrow up, a multi-shot up at the top lane before he got that arrow, if he had the mana. He went back to defense, so I forgot to actually check how much mana he had, and I didn't, of course we can't see the cooldown here, but it would have been great for them if they can kill the Ming there too. One way or another, they find themselves in a great spot to push, and ETC is pushing the bot lane at the same time, since he can still stage dive in, but they do not have a talent lead over their opponent, so there's quite a bit of poke happening from Diamond Skin, trying to make sure that the keep survives.
Yeah, BTC, remember, does have a stage dive, so he can join his team whenever, and now the Immortal is tanking the keep. They are capable of moving in. In comes the stage dive. It's completely dodged by everyone except for Nanda. BKB not going in, super aggressive. The kills here, just making sure that his team guarantees the keep. But a good silence on Zarmony to raid boss.
Yeah, but in the back line, there's the play from Celium. And from Nande, it's the kill against Alarak that puts him into a bit of an awkward spot. BKB sliding through again. He's playing really well on his ETC, always keeping himself and his teammates safe. Sometimes he's really going deep to get another quick W in and pushing everybody away before he's sliding out once more. So he's doing very well with this. And there's actually core damage now taken. So that's 72% on the core. That thing hits like a truck. It's crazy.
Damn, Immortal, too scary. Doing a great job pushing in that top lane, able to grab the keep and guarantee a huge amount of damage onto that core. And with level 20s now available for EE, they now have the potential of attempting to make another play if they're able to get some kills onto that core. And the talents we see at level 20, it is the Hasty Bargain coming in for Alarak, giving him a damage reduction if he wants to get all his cooldowns back in a pinch. We see the shield rewind, the Unyielding Defender on Zarya. Storm Shield for the Rhaegar. Death Siphon, once again, for the Valor. The ETC yet to pick, and the reason for this is there's a small chance that he wants to chase like this with the Bolts of the Storm into the face belt, but he doesn't get any value from it. The other option is he could have used it for the Death Metal, but once again, stage diving, no value yet. Cleanse use of Raid Boss.
Well, not quite no value. I mean, they actually burn a lot of the defensive abilities that they have. They want to get the kill while there's 20 still up, but they don't get it. So that's a lot of cooldowns burned, but they force the opponent back. And the only objective that really exists for Diamond Skin right now is get 20. That's what they need to do, get 20. And so far they haven't been able to do that. There's a play with a camp that has been taken for keep number 2, and the objective is coming up in another 20 seconds. This could be very well keep number 2, depending on how this goes. Or maybe they force the opponent to burn Odin. Not quite. It's enough poke damage for Diamond Skin.
Yep, but that keeps now open. It's lost some health, and a trap is being set up by EE. They decide to abandon it and move back. They don't know where everyone is. They don't even know that the Haka, they knew that the Haka was up there. They wanted to try and catch him, but he already beat back. Instead, they find themselves in a great position for the Immortal, so they're going to get a big head start on that.
There is still no level 20. This is going to be an easy 50% for them. So no level 20 talent, and that's a small time frame where you can pick it up, and that's where Chris is coming into play. So we have the Indestructible taken, the big red button. We're seeing also, of course, for Living at the same time, Repulsion, the Hardened Shield, Storm Shield taken. This could very well be the last objective, depending on how it goes. Diamond Skin needs to make a big play now. They need to win the objective at least if they want to stay in this second game and win it, or it's going to be a tie in the series, very likely.
Well, they're beginning to sneak their way forward. Like I said, they have their 20s. We have that big red button, indestructible storm shield, hardened shield, and repulsion coming in for them. So the question is, what can they do with it? Raidboss harassing with grenade. You can take the extra damage on the grenade for level 16 instead with the armor piercing rounds for the increased single target damage.
Yeah, good pokes. Oh, nice move here by Zelia. He saw that coming. He heard it. He heard Nanda moving in, and he immediately vaulted back. And that's a big problem right now. Nanda jumping in there, not getting any value, pushes now the blue team forward. And let's keep in mind that we have a big wave going onto the core. And that core has lost a fair amount of fair points already. So it's all about the shields right now. Li Ming is falling in the meantime, and they're just going straight for the chases. They're attempting to drop Wolf. Oh! They get Brightwing saved, and the Ancestral is too late. A 4 versus 4.
The Nuke's doing some huge damage. They turn it around. They get Zarya. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and Brightwing is not defending the core. The Catapult's still doing damage here. The Midget's finally going to de-push that a little, but we do see Diamond Skin winning the fight, and that's going to allow them to move on to the Immortal. But Zelia, the high raid boss, doing a huge amount of damage into the backline here.
That's actually getting crazy. They kill against Li Ming, starting things off, and then they still lose the fight where they should have driven it home. They are 60% on the core right now. Nanda has to defend still. Over here, that forces a 3. Oh, the combo! Raid Boss is so low, but he survives and Brightwing saves him. The stun against Grand Parkette. Rhaegar on the run, trying to escape. Explosion with the Condemn. Grand Parkette is so low, drops the Ancestral just to get the cooldown off before he dies. 3 heroes dead, 2 coming back soon. Catapults still pushing it to the right side, where we have now, well, 2 heroes moving back. 1 catapult is there, another big wave coming in, as everybody is still fighting over the Immortals.
The Immortals still alive. Neither team can gain advantage, and Johanna has just head back to her base just to clear the wave so they have a little bit more time so they can regroup. Everyone is now alive except for Rhaegar, and that's super bad for EE. And the second Johanna re-arrives with her team, they're going to be able to move in. Good vision gained by Wolfjo there, combined with Nanda, so they know mostly where the enemy team is. They know they're hanging around this Immortal area.
That's really a bit crazy. The Li Ming kill should have really snowballed it for EE, and it didn't. Here comes the engage, and again, it's just staggered deaths, or is it? They get away for now, but they are going to lose the Immortal now finally. Rhaegar, on the other hand, will be ready for the defense. But this is definitely not what EE expected when they confirmed that early kill against Li Ming there. Losing the heroes, Catapults pushing at the same time, but not getting enough value. This game isn't over yet.
Yeah, they have to leave Nanda behind to the top lane because the Catapults are still pushing, and the Immortal going to bot lane, not top lane, so they have to clear everything up manually.
Nice. So they're going to Hearthstone back and cancel the Hearthstone the entire time. The reason is simple. Everybody is hiding right now, so there's no vision at this point for the Diamond Skin guys. So they're expecting a potential backdoor since their core is only at 60%. So they're just the entire time Hearthstoning and then cancelling it to make sure that they have a minimum amount of time, or like a minimal amount of time to get back in case there is a backdoor. But now that they of course know that there's a 5-man defense, they don't have to do that anymore.
They were leaving the globals in the base as well to de-push it a bit, and now that they know that everyone is back here defending, they've come as well. They tried to get the drag on BKB instead, just get a nuke onto him instead, doing a fair amount of damage. Johanna going very deep for Alarak here, trying to take him down. The Ancestral doesn't get a huge amount of value, and Nanda's taking a lot of harassment here.
ETC's all the way in the back, starts to jump in straight on Raid Boss. The core is under pressure. They need to deal with the Immortal first. They go for Tychus. Tychus is down. The core is at 40% though. This is a disaster for EE. It looks like they're going to lose this second game. Chris is about to fall 10%. It's over. This is over. EE loses game 2. Diamond Skin take the 2-0 lead in this series. Well done. Well played. GG. Okay, everybody, it is the third map, and EE is down 2 games at this point. Towers of Doom is currently our third map. We have Diamond Skin with a very comfortable lead right now, and Dehaka is banned out. So EE learning a little bit from the last 2 games, saying, okay, we have to reduce the power of the globals here of our opponent, starting to adjust their drafts. Diamond Skin with a ban on Abathur. It is a best-of-5 series here at the HGC qualifier, so the one thing to really keep in mind is if EE loses, it's all over. They need to win 3 in a row in order to make it into the league. The only thing that Diamond Skin has to do is win 1 single map, and then they are through and will participate in next year's league.
Yeah, this map's name could be split evenly amongst the two teams here. Diamondskin, if they're able to win this, they will tower above the rest in the 2017 league, and EE could mean their doom.
I wasn't sure. I really didn't know what you were going for there. And I'm like, did I miss something? Like, okay. I guess that's a good point, but yeah, still. Li Ming as the first pick right now.
Yep, solid pick. It also denies it away from Diamondskin, where Chris, very, very favourable on that hero. He very much likes it, so stealing it away is going to be good for them. And Diamondskin taking some time to pick, starting off with the Malfurion, very standard there. Good harassment for the altars here, so we can deny quite a bit. And of course, just a very good support, which will deny it away from EE to combine with Li Ming and allow them if they want to go into a Valor, which Chris is also still good on.
It's also the first time that they actually don't prioritize the Brightwing over this. They banned out Malfurion quite a fair amount and went for the Brightwing instead. Right now, Malf is taken. This is a map where, again, globals can play a huge role. Now that Li Ming is taken away, it wouldn't really shock me too much if we see maybe a false start on their side. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a very different setup in terms of compositions. And EE, again, they have to buckle down right now. They have to say, like, okay, guys, we still got this. They have to believe in themselves. And they have to start here, or Diamondskin's going to roll over them and take this with a 3-0 and make it quite easy play for the league in 2017.
I will say, though, Diamondskin, this time, that Li Ming being taken away from them appears to have rocked them a bit because they're running down their clock way more than they have in any of the previous games. So, really considering what the next split's going to be, they do pick up that ETC. It's worked very well for BKB. He's played very well on it in the past and has been a potential issue that they faced every time, so this time they're able to pick it for themselves.
Now, 3 of the heroes that we've seen BKB prioritize so far throughout the tournament were mostly ETC, Tyrael, and also getting the Mirrodin here, of course. He's pretty flexible when it comes to his hero pool overall. We've seen him with a lot of plays on the Haka, even though normally he doesn't get to be the Haka in the team compositions that he plays. But he still has heroes that he can choose at this point, so taking ETC away from him doesn't really limit them too much. It's this time actually EE that starts to make a bit of a pressure play. They once again go for the Sylvanas. We had that before. It wasn't the first map, Warhead Junction. And they have Brightwing. So they can really pressure the bell towers on the map. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you win a team fight and you can actually raise bell towers, you can put a lot of pressure onto the opponent who has to make that choice. Do we reclaim them? Do we force a team fight? Can we play for the objective here? So EE hopes to get a bit of snowball action at least throughout the mid game.
Yeah, that's what they want to try and do. And if they can do that from mid or to late game, then the chase potential is going to be quite low from Diamondskin, at least so far. But Diamondskin banning out the Zeratul. We've seen that twice now. They appear to know something that we don't about EE.
I mean, we know that EE has a fair amount of melee assassin players there that prioritize Zeratul, and Zeratul is a bit of a beast. He's super annoying, especially if you have, I don't know, you go for a bird or you go for a Vala, Zeratul sneaks in and just pokes away against you the entire time. With the Vorpal Blades already available this early and having the Wormhole on 7, he is pretty brutal. It's also just the fact alone that if you go for Zeratul and you set up a Void Prison, you have still Sylvanas that can capitalize on it with a good Wailing Arrow. So there's just way too many plays that could be made in this situation that they don't want them to have. So it is a huge threat, and if you just feel uncomfortable playing against that with squishies in the backline, there's no reason not to ban it out. I mean, what else are you going to eliminate here? Whatever else you get, I feel like it's always a question like, what do you not want to deal with at all? And they know there's good Zeratul players available for the opponent, so yeah.
Yep, so Diamondskin going in with the second phase of picks with a Tychus to start off with, which is very, very strong. E, not with any tanks yet though, so the Tychus pretty just decent in every way. You can either run it with the very much focus on the percentage style with the minigun, or you can run it a bit more of a Q focus like we saw in the last game, which went quite well. And moving into the Tyrael, denying that away from EE, which is a good counter to ETC.
Yeah, Tyrael would also have been a great hero for BKB, of course. And, well, with the Tassadar ban, the option of going into one of these Tassadar Tracer plays, of course, has been gone. So EE, they still have the Johanna available for themselves. They can go into the Mirrodin if they really want to. And let's see how they're gonna play their front line. We have Thrall still around. Thrall is actually a hero that hasn't really seen a ton of play in those games because he was played in the first one, but he didn't really get the value they were hoping for. He was banned out in the second, and they go for Azul together with Sylvanas. That's a lot of wave care that they have.
Yeah, very push heavy. It's good for lockdown as well, though, so they can combo that with the Muradin quite nicely. We're seeing basically only backlash nowadays, so you can just get a huge amount of burst damage on anyone you are able to lock down, unless Tyrael is going to be able to counter that out. And of course, they will have cleanse on that Malfurion, as Mule on this map, definitely not a huge amount of value, as it does not work on the core.
Yeah. That would be good.
It would be broken if it worked on the core.
That would suddenly make it the best talent in the entire game on this map, at least. So last pick for Diamond Skin, and it is the false stat. Not shocking. It's a great hero for Chris. So yeah, playing the false stat here, definitely a good choice. And we talked about that even before. He has the global mobility. He has a lot of playmaker abilities here. Game number 3 could be the last map, so guys, let's find out together if Diamond Skin can make this a 3-0 victory, or if EE is just basically showing that they are back to this series, because so far they were on the first map pretty much crushed. On the second one they were maybe a bit unlucky and not closing the deal when they had the opportunity, getting punished for that. They have to show up right now with a completely different level of play, or Diamond Skin is going to take this spot for HGC 2017. So let's jump straight into our potentially last map of the best of 5 series. Game number 3, everybody. Potentially the last map of the day, depending on EE's performance. The team has struggled so far quite a bit. We're currently seeing them we're down 2 games in the best of 5. 1 more loss on any of the upcoming potentially 3 maps, and they are out. BKB on Muradin, Zarmany on the left side on Zul, we have Celium on Sylvanas, Azalea on Liming, Garan Paquete on Brightwing, and to the right side of the map, showing up in strength today with very solid performance, we have Diamond Skin with Wolf John Malfurion, Chris on Tychus, Raid Boss on Falstad, Nanda on Tyrael, and Chris Plosion is playing ETC for the team. Very solid performance by them so far, very strong, dominant in a lot of these games, and even in the last map, when it looked for a long time like they would lose the game, they showed up when it mattered and turned it around.
I would immediately like to draw your attention to the level 1 talent for Sylvanas, Mercenary Queen. Mercenary Lord is a talent that just gets so much value on this map because it does affect the Sapper's explosion damage, not on the core, but on the Bell Towers, which means if you do want to go for that rotation race with Sylvanas, you can do it with Mercenaries to just get a huge amount more value.
Zelia is already poking away at the structures. I mean, we've been talking about them having a lot of wave clear here, and in general just like trying to focus a bit on the pushing power. So yeah, let's find out if they can actually make that work. If they can just like get the opponent, if they win a team fight mid-game and start taking bell towers, they can really try to just make the opponent react to whatever they do here. Chasing bell towers is one of the most annoying things on this map. Even if you get the objective, you just don't get enough damage in against the core. Of course, the first and the fifth one are going to be the most important ones when we have triple altars appear on the map. But yeah, let's see if the teams can actually like show up. If EE can come back into the series, or at least start to make a stand here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do so if they want any chance. For now, BKB just rotating between the lanes for the moment, getting harassed a little bit by Explosion. But neither team playing super aggressive right now. They're both playing very passive until Valsad, who just now goes after Zul.
Yeah, and Zarmany is falling. Great aggression again. I mean, like, the coordination that we have on Diamond Skin, that we had especially on Warhead Junction, of course, which was my map choice, but also now, is pretty great. Let's face it. They have this explosive style to just collapse on a target within seconds and take it down, and they've been doing really well with it. BKB is now experiencing this firsthand, even though he is still able to move out. An early game kill like this doesn't really play a big role just yet. And we have the bathroom break, apparently, that we've been talking about.
Yep, there it is. Raid bus.
Okay, so guys, in case you don't know what we're talking about, if you watch the VOD, the teams have been taking huge amounts of time between the maps that we had so far. And it turned out that apparently like twice a player had to go to the bathroom. At this point, we don't really know if it's the same player, but we more or less isolated Chris Plosion as being the one with the bladder problem, just because he joined the lobby late. We're not quite sure if he really washed his hands or not, but this time it actually doesn't even seem to be himself being the issue here. But therefore, it's a bit of a running gag, like with the toilet breaks here. This time it seems to be something that's a little bit more serious. So having a connection issue that is more than unfortunate. We had the same problem on day number 2 of the qualifier when Team Liquid was facing off against Grievous 2. The Polish team had all of a sudden a power outage for one of their players, and that in the end resulted in them having to forfeit the entire series. So we're not there yet. It's only a bit of a package loss problem, and apparently they're ready again. But of course, these things are a bit worrisome when they happen. But thankfully, we apparently were able to fix that.
Yeah. Also, in terms of isolating issues, we do isolate Explosion as the spelling issue in terms of the raid bus and the backet loss.
Yeah. That's true. Interrupts at the bot lane, and also interrupts up at the top. It looks like they already give up 2 of the bell towers. They are a bit off here. Normally what we see is a fight for the 3rd one and just an exchange of 2, so they just give up the 2nd one here for now. Let's see how they're going to play this. They're actually trying to make a play for the top lane. They aggressively start to jump onto this, and Sylvanas is disabling it. They want to have the Mercenary Queen value, as it seems.
Yeah, it seems they really want to just try and rotate and grab mercenary camps, but look at how Diamond Skin are rotating. Everyone on their way up, except for Tigers and Falset, and Falset can fly. Nanda, even going to fight for this income warp joke explosion. Falset flying in too, and they're going to be able to deny that Merc camp, deny that value. Super nice play from Diamond Skin.
And it's like EE just telegraphs way too openly what they're going to do. That is becoming a problem, and a big one at that. Zamani at the bot lane is just getting the experience right now, but Diamond Skin is reacting beautifully to everything that is being thrown at them. We have ETC on level 4 with the speed metal, by the way. We are seeing the Loon's Grace, and yeah, they are doing really well, capitalizing on their own advantages. They have the lead already. I mean, it's very early in Towers of Doom, so it's not like they have a decisive lead for potential victory just yet. But this is something that EE has to start to worry about a bit.
Yeah, EE has to worry about this, and they're in fact going to worry about it by raiding the camp and trying to get an advantage that way. They can see Raid Boss over the wall, and they still mostly get hit by the Hammerang, but they do grab the Mercs here. Explosion going to position himself to try and deny them from getting into the lane for the moment, and also pull them back a bit so they can clear them up without any kind of interruption, which means Cillium isn't going to get the value. Cillium, though, seems to have seen this coming and has already moved to their own Mercs.
Yeah, and talking about Mercs, they capped that 2nd camp, and we have a single altar event at the bottom of the map. It's level 7 versus level 7. This is really starting where you have to make a few, you have to start to make a bit of a stand there. Actually moving through the mid lane for a moment to burst another wave down, and it looks like Zul is not even gonna bother to move down. He's actually starting to move now. A bit late though, another 6 seconds until the altar is appearing on the map, so they have enough time with a few interrupts to get him into play here. But yeah, he's taking his time. Falset is flying down now, arrives a bit faster, but they should still be okay here and force a 5 versus 5 battle.
Mercs once again get shredded, not getting a huge amount of value, but Explosion does get chunked quite a bit, which means BKB is now in a position to try and deny this, but the capture is denied by Nanda here with his Eldritch Might.
Yeah, Bone Prison is also hitting. They're still all poking at this point, especially of course Zelia with his Liming. Nanda is pressuring this very far forward. Celium with a lot of damage against ETC. Explosion barely getting out of that. And the same problem for BKB as he's all of a sudden the target of Diamond Skin. A Raid Boss barreling out, gets Bone Prison, escape used as is, but he turns around, gets the damage in, and Celium is going to fall as well as Zul. They were greeting for the kill. Now a very aggressive move in, and it's a triple kill by Diamond Skin. That, wow. This is 4 shots fired, 3 kills taken. This is starting to really spell disaster.
Absolutely beautiful play here by Diamond Skin, pulling back until they have to turn around, and then they're able to guarantee the kills. Explosion doing an amazing job on this EDC that's been denied from him a lot of times by BKB.
They're playing great. They forced, like, basically, they disengage, and it's actually a situation in which they were pressured. So they have a tough spot in which they're in. They move back, and then they still realize the opportunities that present themselves once the opponent starts to funnel into a choke point. So instead of just simply abandoning the fight and moving back and saying, okay, we can move in after we maybe tab or we can try to interrupt, they are seeing an opportunity, turn around, get the maximum amount of value out of the Gathering Storm and the Boomerang. That immediately drops 2 targets very low, and they are doing just exceptionally well realizing when they can turn and take the fight to their opponent.
Stage dive being used here once again, trying to deny that Sylvanas value, but she's not even here. Instead, it's just a kill for Brightwing. Sylvanas is busy in the mid lane, pushing up. So far, she's got 0 Merc Queen value this entire game. And also, speaking of 0 value, the Mercenaries, they have captured all games and have managed to get 0 value, as they have been cleared up so quickly by Diamond Skin.
Right now, it honestly feels like EE Spirit is completely broken. I'm very curious what they can do with 10 now. That's what I'm waiting for. But they lost 5 heroes so far in the game. They haven't shown up at all, and they're being chased. I mean, look at that. They are completely getting chased here the entire time. It's like hunting season on EE players. That's what's happening. They're trying to turn it around now. Zul moves in, Bone Prison. It would go a long way for them to take a kill here and make a play, but Tyrell is already starting to channel altars, at least one up at the top. So, yeah, he's going to get that channel through quite easily. And that is... Or is he?
No, he's not.
Why did he not channel that through?
I don't know. Well, either way, can't anymore. Nunda moving in to deny it, and the rest of the team has now arrived. Brightwing, though, will at least guarantee their own.
Yeah, Raid Boss is getting it now. A bit surprising that Tyrell didn't complete the channel. I think he had plenty of time to do it. And so it's a trade for altars, 24 against 32 points. It's not really the fact that they lost more points on the core. That doesn't really matter too much on this map once that you start snowballing a bit, and they have all the tools that they need for that. It's just like it feels they don't really show up to these fights. It's explosive collapses on single heroes with ETC stage dive, with Falstad flying in, mighty gusting people, them jumping all over the place. And so far he has never really been the team that was driving the fights. They had a good showing, I feel, for a long time on Battlefield of Eternity, but right now this game is completely being played against them. And it feels like, I don't know, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like Diamond Skin can do whatever they want right now.
They really can. The only thing they can't really do is boss. It would be too risky for them. But guess what EE is doing? They're currently rotating past the boss to try and get Raid Boss up here. They have their Sylvanas with them, so they want to try and then start the Bell Tower rotations, bring themselves back in. But Falstad able to do too much harassment, and look at just once again how quickly Diamonds can react.
Yeah, and I mean, they are scared, so...
Oh God, this again?
Rightly so. So they're going to go for the camp right now. Brightwing is in the mid lane. They get at least the one up at the top. I like that they're trying to pressure bell towers. I actually like that quite a bit. If the opponent doesn't react, you get the bell tower. So they are trying to play around them at this point. And they have a composition that allows them to do that.
They're behind in the game, but they're keeping their opponents chasing as opposed to getting further ahead. Now they're going to try and grab the Valkyrian here, but a load of magic missiles do miss. And Raid Boss covers a good damage onto BKB here.
Yeah, that silence, it was a nice thought process. They keep the opponent rotating and then they are trying to go for the flank, and it was a very good approach. The problem is that if they are trying to drop the Malfurion, hitting that silence on him would have been probably a good idea. I suppose they just wanted to make sure that the rest of the team can't help him, but that's a lot of cooldowns being dropped and they didn't get the kill. So now we have the teams heading into level 13 as there's 2 altars on the map. EE has to start taking kills here, or they are going to get destroyed in this. So they want to get level 13, that's already available to their opponent, where we have the Ice Block in, there's the talent, and now they have to start fighting for this. They're poking away against Falstad. Raid Boss is being stunned out, the same going with the Polymorph after the hit from Muradin against Nanda with his Tyrael, but this is the moment where I really want to see if EE can make a play there, and they actually give up the bot altar already as is.
Yeah, they gave up the bot altar, but Zalia getting harassed by Falstad here, preventing him from going for this middle one either. Explosion moving forward, trying to zone out as best he can with that Encore here. Now they're trying to take down BKB, who's gone very deep. Raid Boss flying in, they're trying to focus him down.
Yeah, there's the cleanse. BKB getting away. ETC jumps in, Gust into the corner. Diamond Skin is absolutely dominating the place here. This is not even funny anymore. This is like insane. They make one play after another, and big plays at that. They Gust into a corner, the ETC stage dive on top of it, not even like in that order. They get camp after camp. They have 8 kills versus 0. They gave up 2 of the altars, every single one after that they won. There's like a push comp against them that doesn't matter at all. Mercenary Queen is a level 1 talent, doesn't get any value whatsoever because they just take the camps away, or they just simply clear them before they even hit the lane. Diamond Skin is completely annihilating their opponent here right now.
Yeah, Zalia scouts out that this boss is being done, but what can he do about it? The answer is absolutely nothing. Oh, grab the Kurtz though does delay that boss. Is let go. All the heroes back alive. They don't want to get caught out. Instead, they're going to let their opponents finish it and then take it from their cold, dead bodies.
That's what it looks like right now. With the Gust available, that's definitely what it looks like.
Oh,
and there's the Gust. Nice. Okay, BKB, and they take it. They take it and they fight. This is the moment. Maybe now. Crystplosion is still alive, and they still get away. And the crucial point with this one was actually the level 13 talent on the side of ETC Encore. That was really the moment where they couldn't funnel through the point anymore, because that pushed them back again.
Yeah, and because of that, EE were able to keep themselves in this game a little bit longer, stealing that boss with a very nice engage there. But ETC, he tried his best to get on the point, was completely denied. Tyrael did not have sanctification up at that time, and not 16 yet, no holy ground.
So let's talk for a moment about what's good so far. The good point for EE is that they still are close in experience. 15 to 15 and a half. It's 3 altars on the core, on the map. So if you lose 1, that's still okay. You can still lose 2, that's still fine, but you need to snowball it after that. The level 16 talents are going to become a bit of an issue for sure. Bot lane, bell tower is also extremely low, but they are still close in experience. That's the one thing that EE currently has going for them. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. They're not completely out of this yet, but they honestly have to step it up if they want to turn this game around.
EE have also managed to dominate basically every mercenary camp on the map for the entire game. Diamond's going to manage to get 1 total, I think. So that is good. They've managed to delay that and stop that pushing against them as well. And now they're kind of losing this one. BKB rotating around, going to sneak in and get the delay there. Brightwing can teleport, but look at how split they are.
Yeah, but they need to interrupt, and that's what they're trying to do. 16 is there, that's the moment. BKB jumping out. He still has the avatar, uses silence, is great, but now Furion has the tranquility on. Odin popped in the backline. Skeletal Mages for a bit of zoning. They need to disengage. Wolfjoy's moving in. There comes the stage dive. Unstoppable on Celium as he tries to move out. Mighty Gust being used. Grand Paquette ice blocking. And they are trying to get away. He actually escapes. Celium, on the other hand, he falls. It's a counter kill against Malfurion. It's a 2-for-1 trade, though. And BKB, he might be able to lock someone else down, but they lost 2 heroes already. Zillia is moving in again, low on mana. BKB is dying. Chris falls. Grand Paquette can't make it work. He's also going to be annihilated. This is a 5-man wipe. They take the bell tower, and they go to grab the next altar. This is them losing out up to 7 points on the core.
Yeah, Li Ming actually got in there to get the kill onto Tychus, but got the resets, which is what they were aiming for, and was then just chased down, because resets mean nothing if you have no mana to use the abilities you get reset.
16 versus 17. It's still the same talent. That's, again, if they start winning, they can utilize Sylvanas to drop some of these structures, but of course, like everybody who is watching this game right now realizes that the advantage that we're seeing for Diamond Skin is phenomenal. They've been on point with their combos, with their synergy, with just like the coordination that they had, and it's something that EE struggles again. This is not the team that I expected to show up here today. I expected a very close series, especially after what we've seen between Jabronis and Russian Circus. I expected that either one of these, like both teams could win it, but I did not expect a 3-0, and we are heading towards that result.
Yeah, that looks like what may be happening. Cilium, though, gaining some good value with the Sylvanas, clearing up that bottom bell tower and destroying the Merc camp that would have pushed through to core if they'd let it past. Top lane is being pushed right now, but Grand Paquette poking that down. The minion wave's not arriving in time to help Diamond Skin push that in, so we do see all of the... Oh, had Mighty Gust used by Falsa to keep himself alive here. He's getting chased down. Lens is used. He's able to escape. But we do see them prevent the bell tower chase happening.
Yeah, that's a big plus for them right now. ETC also is still pushing the bot lane. That Encore is actually starting to be a little bit annoying for the minions as well. But they are going for the camp, so they are trying to do that. Keep in mind that Nando, of course, heading into the Tyrael on level 16 also picked up the Holy Ground, so theoretically he can steal those away. Not quite willing to commit to that for just a simple camp, which is understandable. But there's another bell tower, sorry, another altar on the map right now. It's a level behind that we're seeing them right now, so they need to win the altar, or at least interrupt it. They can't lose it, let's put it like this. They can delay it if that's worth it for them, but they need to make sure that it's not taken by the opponent. Yeah, Crystplosion is there, eating quite a bit of damage. Zelia jumps in and is trying to isolate him, also dropping immediately the Wave of Force over here, but not able to push him in, so he's back. And I like what we're seeing from Diamond Skin. They actually say, you know what, take it. We're happy with that. This is 4 points against the core. We're close to level 20. The only way we can lose this is if you win a big team fight right now, and at this point we are on even talent, so if you win now and then you utilize Sylvanas to make us raise the bell towers, then we might actually lose this game. You can take that, you can have it, we're going to wait for level 20 and then we're going to show you who's boss.
Yeah, they spent the time that they could have been fighting over that instead defending mid. Mid will fall anyway, but it's a little bit later now, so there's nothing else that the EE could really be doing, while Diamondskin spend the time at D pushing at this bell tower once it has spawned. The boss is available, but if you were EE, would you try taking the boss against a level 20 Diamondskin? The answer is most definitely not. So Diamondskin can spend the time clearing out that bell tower, and EE, they're not able to get the rotations because the globals are too strong. Chris Motion has pushed up bot lane even further, and all EE are doing is guarding the boss.
Yeah. But there's also no bell tower taken except for like raid bosses going in, and he's dropping that thing fast. So what are they going to do? They wait, they have experience taken at the bot lane. The boss is something they have to guard, no question. They need the next, they need the 20. They need it. If they don't have it for the next bell tower fight or for a fight at the boss, then it is lights out for them. Boss is still being postured around. They take another camp. They are so close to 20. Brightwing is at the bot lane. ETC is slowly moving top. There's a lot of harass happening as Boss is actually being attacked right now. Brightwing jumped in. That means they don't get experience right now. 20 is still not there yet for them. They're poking their hearts out, but there's 2 altars on the map, and the 20 talent, they have to get it. There's a wave at the top lane, they can't burst down, they're moving down, they're trying to get experience anywhere they can. It's so close, they will have it in time. There's also another big push happening at the bot lane, which could result in another bell tower being lost. This is going to be a 20 versus 20 fight if they can just take... there we go, they have it, finally.
Yeah, and they are now a bell tower up, so if they can get shots here, it's going to be huge. BKB getting focused down here. Brute from Zul landing onto ETC, no follow-up on it, but it is every little help. Brightwing moving down to bot, going to start on that bell tower while everyone tries to die. Zalia from behind, a huge chunk onto Wolfjo there, but Zarmany taking a lot of damage. He's kind of on his own here.
Wolfjo is nearly eliminated, but it's Zarmany who's taken out. Zul alone caught. 5 versus 4, ETC time once again, time to shine. They jump in, they want the kills. Wolfjo with the heals, and that's the burst against Sylvanas, and this should conclude the game. Right now, they can simply wipe them, try to take the bell towers, and that get both of the altars. Actually, they can't at this point. One has been claimed already, so they're not going to lose the game here, but they are going to be down to the last one. And if boss is taken as well, then, I mean,
they have exactly enough for this and boss to win the game. 3 shots going onto the core, bringing them down to 4 health. The boss, the last remaining thing they need, or they can play it safe and wait it out. They're trying to just get anything from this, but if this goes against them, BKB getting focused down. If he dies, it's going to be a free boss going over there. And if they can get more, then it's just even more GG. There's 2 kills, and that basically allows them to just walk over to the boss and take it.
Yeah, that's game right here. Like, there's absolutely no way that you save this. There's a Mighty Gust as well. You have 1 hero on the map. Zul is coming back. Those 2 will not be able to make the boss work. This is a 3-0. Yep. I did not expect this at all. Great play by Diamondskin. I thought this would be much, much closer in the series. But Diamondskin, they showed up on a completely different level than what we've seen before. And they were already strong before the series. Great play. GG, not dropping a single map. EE being very fair losers here. Congratulating the opponent. 3-0 victory. Congratulations to Diamondskin. Well deserved.